We're going from this to this right now on the main track. Hey everyone, my name is Mike and welcome back to the main track. It's awesome to see you here today. Was sound or no sound? That seems to be a pretty big question for some model railroaders when it comes to their locomotives. How about you? When it comes to sound, do you take it or do you leave it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts on that. Years and years ago, whenever sound and decoders first came out, I wasn't super impressed with what I was hearing out there. I thought maybe it was going to be a fun novelty, but definitely did not envision myself being one that would have a roster full of sound-equipped locomotives. Now, of course, over the years, the quality of that sound, the technology has improved quite a bit, and I consider myself a convert now to the sound world, if you will. All of the locomotives on my layout were sound equipped except for two holdouts, these GP40s, that is, until now. Well, let's take a look back at what these units looked like before the upgrades. We have unit number 175 and 171. Now, these were two Atlas GP40s I've had for quite a few years now. You may have noticed them hanging around in the background in some of my previous episodes. These are actually pretty old units. Atlas released these back in 2003. They had DCC decoders in those. They did an okay job running, considering they were 20 years old, but these did not have sound in them. So I boxed these up and I sent them off to an online acquaintance I have for a complete overhaul, so I can't take any credit for the transformation I'm showing you here today. Now, while they were in the shops, he put in a TCS WowSound decoder in each one of the units, put in some nice bright LED units, and these things look fantastic. Now, a little bit about these features. I looked up the TCS website, and the company claims it has a 16-bit CD quality audio that's not compressed and sounds just as crystal clear as the actual audio recordings taken on-site from real locomotives. Now, of course, that's a good thing because a lot of those decoders out there have compressed audio, which means it sounds okay, but you get that digitized or computerized sound to it. Doesn't exactly sound like it would if you were there in real life next to the locomotive. Now, another thing I had installed were iPhone speakers, and that way the sound coming from these decoders is nice and crisp. It's actually pretty intense. When I got these out of the box and cranked them up, it was loud, sounded great, but of course I was able to adjust those sound levels, bring them down to something a little more manageable for everyday operations. And the third thing we had installed in these, which I really love, is the Keep Alive feature. Now, what this does is it keeps the sound going for several seconds, even if you have one of those momentary slips in power connection, maybe on a dirty spot of track or something. Now, if you're running your trains, you know hitting one of those spots can be pretty frustrating. The blip in power can cause your whole engine's sound system to shut off, maybe even go through the whole reloading sequence again. Obviously, it's best to keep your track as clean as possible to have those good connections, but this Keep Alive feature will help in those spots where maybe you missed something. Now, I'll be a little honest, this feature is pretty cool and also a little creepy. Of course, your brain, as a model railroader, is used to having your locomotive go completely dead when you take it off the rails, but not with the Keep Alive. Take a look here. When you lift it off the track, the thing keeps running for at least 5 seconds, so it's definitely a very different feeling to have that running locomotive up in the air in your hands. So definitely an unusual sensation for a model railroader, so that'll take some getting used to, but I think in a very good way. Now, with these upgrades, I also had these nice bright LED lights put in. They originally had those old Atlas incandescent lights. Now you can see things are going to have a nice, consistent brightness for both units. Now, while these G40s were in the shop getting their electronics redone, I figured why not get them weathered as well. That was a project I'd planned on getting to eventually, but simply hadn't gotten around to it. So we went ahead and had that all done at one time. Now, at the time period of my layout, 1986, 1987-ish, these Jeep40s on the Katy would have been about 20 years old. So they had at least 2 decades of hard running on them through the elements of the Midwest and Southwest, so they would have had a lot of grime. So with this awesome weathering job, the locomotives look like they've been running for years and years, earning their keep for the Missouri, Kansas, Texas. All right, so let's rev these up and take a listen. The loading sequence sounds nice. The bells sound really good. The horn setup for the TCS decoder is a little different. You have a short blast, and then you have a long blast. But you can also have a preset sequence that includes the quill. Now, what the quill is that prototypical roll in and roll out with each blast, like this. The prime mover also sounds pretty awesome when it's just idling. You've also got that nice prototypical sounding whine from the turbochargers. And when we're running around the track for operations, they do a pretty good job responding and running at very nice low speeds. Also have some nice kick when I'm getting up to higher levels. So let's listen in some more to the sounds here. Now in this video, I just wanted to show you the basic ins and outs of these TCS decoders in my GP40s. Wasn't meant to be a full comprehensive overview or review of those functions and features. I may do a how-to video of that sometime down the line. But of course, right now, I'm just getting these back. I'm in the process of learning the ins and outs myself. And so far, I'm very impressed. All right, well now with those upgrades to these GP40s, I can add TCS WowSound to my array of decoders I have here on the layout. Other locomotives I have Tsunami sound in them, some Loc sound, so definitely some options here on the layout. What about you? What are some of your favorite decoders when it comes to sound? Let me know in those comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that and which ones you prefer. We appreciate you joining us here on the main track as always. Until next time, all aboard and all the best.